welcome back. This week, I did not forget our intro video, so you didn't have to awkwardly see Caitlin and I startled. We are so happy to have everybody here. And it's not just Caitlin and I today, which is a special treat because we have our very first guest coming on the show today. If you don't know him, you probably live under a rock, but he is
Patrick Starr.
He is a host on the DNBA show. And if you're our Nuggets friends on here, you probably know they are always live for pregame, postgame. They are live even when there's not Nuggets games 5 times a week. And he also hosts a new-ish podcast with Tim Legler. It is the All NBA show on the All NBA network. It's one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. They break down, just as it sounds, all of the NBA. And don't know what else to tell you. And he's also Jalen Pickett's #1 fan. We have Adam Mares with us today.
There we go. All right.
Don't forget the
wild.
most handsome guest we've ever had.
Thank you. Thank you.
Handsome, the tallest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spence, that was like, 2 out of 10, but Caitlin, you brought it up. 10 out of 10 now. So you saved the day
Caitlin
late.
raised the bar.
No, listen, if I give people intros, I'd be here for 10 minutes. I'd be like, their ears are made from the Lord himself.
His
like
hairline,
I'd be saying all the weird
hairline
things.
never wavers, just like his sports takes. It is
not even from Turkey. His hair is all natural. That is it.
Thanks so
That's what
much.
I wanted to hear.
Thanks so much for coming on, Adam. How are you?
I'm great. I'm talking to you two today, so I'm doing well.
That must be a
See, that's how
fun day
you play
for
to the crowd. That's how you play to the audience. You see, like it's so easy.
Listen, I could go on all day if you want. We're so happy to have you. I feel like I've known you for so much longer than I probably have, but I'm excited to do this second round of playoffs with you guys. And if you guys didn't know, everyone between Adam and all the guys at DMDR have helped Caitlin and this show so much in all of their help. So we just want to thank you.
Look at me. I'm already all teary-eyed about it.
Already crying.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I know. I'm emotional. Everyone's been so nice. It's insane.
Yeah. No, we love you guys.
Yeah.
Right back at you. I like your guys' sets. This is nice. Both with your own design.
Thank you.
We have the same couch. It worked out. Yeah.
It is the exact same couch.
It is the exact same. It is the exact same couch. And yeah, we're excited to talk Nuggets today. Of course, that's what we wanted to start out. And my first question is, because I've seen some divide between the Twitter people. Were you excited that we got the Clippers, or would you have preferred the Timberwolves? Because some people were arguing.
Yeah. I think it was like 6-1, half dozen another. And I think Adelman said it best, where he was like, when you're looking at who we could play, does it matter? They're all tough.
Yeah.
And I think that's
all sucks.
They all suck. So to me, I look at it and I go, I think the Clippers are better than the Timberwolves right now. They present some unique challenges to Denver that Minnesota maybe didn't. But Minnesota did have the mental factor. Maybe it would have been better for Denver to go into that one, because Denver does. And I don't think they're at risk of it this year because of the coaching change, but I do feel like Denver almost has to get hit in the mouth before they wake up sometimes. And if you play the Timberwolves, you've already been hit. Like, it's Timberwolves. They own us. We need to get a statement one. You hit the ground running. I do fear maybe with the Clippers that game one feels more like a feel it out game. And I'm not sure Denver has the margin of error for a feel it out game. So, but I mean, what are we really talking about here? They're both tough. They got the Clippers. Let's see what happens.
I know. I worry about the mental edge always, because I mean, I think as soon as you're in someone's head, the game's over. And for whatever reason this season, they just could not pull it out over the Timberwolves. It was just so painful to witness. And that's how I felt like whenever Nuggets got hit, it felt like that with the series against the Timberwolves last year. You know, we came back and won 3 in a row. But this year there was none of that. I mean, granted, we've been dealing with the injuries all season long, but yeah, no, it's been painful.
Yeah. Well, there's an interesting angle I just thought of as you were talking here, which is I believe that the Timberwolves hate the Nuggets, and they bring that hatred into the building every single time, and you could feel it. And I feel like the Nuggets didn't have, for some reason, that same energy for Minnesota. I do think that they hate them. And, you know, anytime you get knocked out, you kind of have a resentment. But they didn't bring that level of like, we can't lose this game, other than the very last one, which I thought they brought a little bit of that edge. But part of me wonders, the Timberwolves hatred stems in large part from the Tim Conley aspect of this, the Chris Finch aspect. And I wonder if it almost felt like it was a proxy war between front office coaching staffs and coaching staffs. And the Timberwolves felt that. And the Nuggets were kind of like, we're not fully behind our side of this battle. So we have to go out and win this one for Cal, win this one for Mo.
We're not backing Cal like you guys are backing Tim Connolly. Don't worry.
It could be. I don't know. Again, that's just something that popped in my head as you were talking.
No, it definitely felt like that.
I feel like you're totally right too, because like I feel like the Timberwolves, every time they come out, like I swear the first 5 minutes of the game is a punch in the mouth to the Nuggets. Like they come out every time and they're like, by the way, we still hate you and we're still going to play the hardest game of basketball you've ever played. But when it comes to the Clippers, I almost feel like the Clippers, and I've said this like recently, I feel like they're like the quiet contenders. Like they've just been kind of consistent, like riding all season. Like they were able to hang in there while Kawhi wasn't healthy. And then Kawhi hopped in and has been playing great basketball. And, they got Bogey at the deadline and they've just kind of like quietly sailed this entire season.
To the 5th seed.
Yes. Yeah. And they've just kind of sat there. And I feel like we've had so much to prove and so much to fight for all season. Obviously, we're sitting in 4th, which is huge. I literally was like, we could have been 8th. Who knows? But like, I feel like it's going to be like a really good matchup. Like, I feel like I'm less scared going into it as I would have been with the Timberwolves, only because the Timberwolves punch us in the mouth every time. But I feel like we're a team that needs to like really get our mental aspect behind it and like just be ready for whatever, because every team, literally 1 through 8, is a fantastic basketball team. Like
I think Denver, to your point about the mental, acuity, I think that they've locked in, and I think there is a good energy in the building right now. So I do expect that on Saturday. I expect Denver to be fully prepared for that game, emotionally, strategically, and every other way. But your point about the Clippers is an interesting one, because they also have a galvanizing moment that they've rallied around all year. So they have been, that trade happened, I believe, in 2019, the summer of 2019, they get Kawhi, and they were front page. For like 3-4 years, they were front page. Well, maybe the Clippers this year. This is the first year they weren't. And they weren't in large part because they traded away Paul George, or lost Paul George, I should say, basically for nothing. But that was their galvanizing moment, because they have really kicked him in the tail on the way out. If you've listened to their commentary, a lot of, we're actually better without him than we would have been. We have guys in the building. So in a weird way, they both lost a spotlight that probably didn't serve their personalities. I mean, Kawhi Leonard's not a front page kind of guy. So they're under the radar, but they also have this sort of like narrative, overarching team narrative of, we lost the guy that was holding us back. This is the group that can do it. So they have a weird built-in belief that I think is serving them this year. And it's serving them because it's probably also true.
No, I remember being so confused going into last season, because you're like, they have James Harden, they have Kawhi Leonard, they have Paul George, they have, Russ has, not, he's been Russ. But you hear those names and you think, wow, like these guys are going to win it all, or, they have the chance to win it all, even though they're all, older. And then this season, I feel like, we got punched by them in the first game that we played them in early in the season, and not that the Nuggets were anything to rave home about in the first, honestly, most of the season. But I think what's worrisome is now, like, you have Kawhi, who's had all of this rest, and it doesn't look like he's like hindered. Like he's playing
he's playing so
like,
well.
Yeah, he's playing like Kawhi again, and it doesn't look like he has has been out for all this time. And it's like, I worry about, is he just now peaking at the right time to head into the playoffs? While AG, who's usually the one who's going to be guarding him, has been dealing with his calf all season. That's what I'm like most worried about.
It's a fair worry, because Kawhi's awesome and he is peaking at the right moment. But here's what I would say. Peaking going into the playoffs really doesn't mean anything. Momentum doesn't mean anything, because it can switch so easily. And I think Denver's challenge early on in the series is to take away that momentum. They have been playing so well. And if you can get them in game 1, and really if you can hold home court in games 1 and 2, it sends a message of, you just won 22 out of 24. Well, you just lost 2 in a row. So, it's a complete and total halt. And then on top of that, I always think back to the bubble series. That was 5 years ago, and it was at Disney World. So let's not put too much into this. But they dominated, and he dominated games 1 through 4, and really 1 through 5.
Yeah.
As that series turned, Kawhi Leonard looked to me, and this is underrated part of his own legacy, because I feel like people talk about playoff Kawhi as this unbeatable juggernaut. No, the injuries got to him, but outside of that, he's been great. I look at that series and say, go back and watch games 6 and 7. He actually looked like a guy that felt it, like, oh my God, we're losing control of this.
Yeah,
and in game 7 in particular, he kind of sucked. And there's a part of me that goes, I wonder if Denver can take that from him. Aaron Gordon can be a great defender. And I also just wonder, you're rallying behind this idea of we've got Kawhi, we're ready to make a run. Put the doubt in their heads, and let's just see how he responds to that.
Yeah, and I mean, I was looking at the stats yesterday, and typically, AG has been a great Kawhi defender, even though I feel like his defense this year has taken like a little bit of a dive, and I think that's a lot due to his injuries. But I'm very interested to see how Christian Brown guards Harden, because I feel like he is still so young. So I do wonder if James Harden's going to foul bait. Like that's what he's going to try and get CB into trouble, and I really worry about I don't know if you have any thoughts if they're going to switch the starting lineup, because we do have a new coach, and I worry about him getting Michael Porter into like immediate foul trouble, just like because he's a mark in my opinion, and he's been a mark the past, always, but the past few games he's just been defensively terrible. So I wonder if Adelman has like any reason to start like P-Watt or Russ over Michael Porter Jr. I wasn't sure if you had any thoughts on that.
I think there's no way he does that in game 1. And I'd be surprised if he even did that in game 2, even if you lost in game 1. I think that is a thing that you trust the identity you've built over the last 8 years. Since Michael Porter's been here, your identity has included him. The second part is I'm not sure you worry about Michael Porter's foul trouble. If he fouls out, and you got 26 minutes out of him, like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. And then the last part I would say is Michael Porter really struggles defensively, but not necessarily in isolation. I actually think he's okay there. And if Harden wants to,
he's better in ISO.
I agree. 100%. To me, you attack him, and I think the Clippers are actually smart enough to know how you attack him. If they pull him out and just try to ISO him with James Harden, let's see what happens. I would not be surprised if Michael Porter does a good job. I think the Clippers are smart enough to know, hey, let's get him in rotation. Let's put him as the low man on help, and let's see that their backside rotation on pick and rolls is the thing that sinks Denver, because that's the thing I would be more concerned about.
Well, and like I was thinking about like last night and everything like that, because I've been like watching back some of the games that the Nuggets played against the Clippers and just kind of seeing how that looks. And I also, watched 99% of the other games in the NBA. And one thing that I feel like I always hear is that like good shooters get super into their heads or usually get super bitter if you sit there and leave them open. Like Derek White was saying earlier this season that Draymond Green in 2022 was the entire reason he became the shooter he is today. He said in that finals run, Draymond Green left him open so many times, got in his head. He's like, why is this guy leaving me open? I'm a great shooter. And he's like, I started missing. I was horribly inefficient that game or that entire series. And he's like, I literally... That's all I worked on since then. And now he's one of the best shooters in the NBA. This season, he, broke the Celtics 3-point record and everything. And there's a lot of guys that talk about like the mental aspect of being left open. Like, why are you leaving me open? I can make this shot. And then they start beefing the shots. And I feel like the Clippers are such a good shooting team with Norman Powell and James Harden and guys like that. And so it's like, do you leave one of them open? Like, who do you? Like, I feel like we're not a team that's like obviously fantastic around the perimeter. So
I'm like, they're always going to leave someone open.
On accident or on purpose.
I think where Denver leaves people open is in pick and roll coverage, because that's where they're the most vulnerable. Jokic has to stay up. He's not the fastest to foot. And so you have to kind of scramble on the backside. The Clippers, what's interesting about this series to me is the Clippers prefer to play isolation. They prefer to play other ways, throw it into the post, throw it into the elbow. Do they go away from that? It's worked for them. They have the number 2 offense over the last 20 games. Almost number 1. I think they're 0.1 percentage points away from being the best offense for a quarter of the season. So do you go away from that just because this matchup might call for a little bit more spread pick and roll? I don't know. I suspect in game 1 they won't. They'll say, hey, can these guys guard Norman Powell and Kawhi Leonard and James Harden? Let's see. Yeah. And if the answer is yes, Denver did a good job of that, then I think they're going to try to spread it out and give the ball to James Harden a little more.
Yeah, I agree. Who do you think in your mind right now is the X factor for the Nuggets going into this matchup?
Probably Aaron Gordon. I mean, there's the problem with Denver is they have a lot of X factors. I mean, is Jamal Murray an X
can
factor?
Turn it on. There's no one is going to be another Jokic, but at least one person might randomly turn it up.
But Aaron Gordon, you mentioned his defense being bad. The whole team's defense was bad. And,
not that anyone's is good.
and I think there was compounding interest on the bad defense that even led to Aaron Gordon. Some of this was injury related, I think, but some of it was probably just, what are we working for? Like, the team had lost the belief in the things they were supposed to do. And it's hard to do the difficult things if you're not fully bought in. I think they are more bought in now. So I expect the defense individually and collectively to be ramped up. So that means, can he make an impact on Kawhi? They obviously need Kawhi to be efficient. He's a super efficient scorer. Can you just make him an average scorer? That can be the margin. And then offensively, we know that the Nuggets are at their best when teams do not physically match up with Aaron Gordon, because Jokic requires so much attention. Zubats has him. But can you put Aaron Gordon in position where, we thought Derek Jones Jr. could handle him on these plays, or, somebody can rotate over onto him? It's like, no, Aaron Gordon is not a guy that you can put a skinny guy on. You need to meet him with physicality. So can he do that? Can he be a guy that has 6 dunks, 20 points from the dunker spot, gets to the foul line, grabs offensive rebounds? That's why he might be the biggest X factor.
My mom and I like to call Aaron Gordon sturdy. He's a sturdy guy.
Yes.
He is sturdy.
No,
Very sturdy.
I swear, I have watched games where guys will try to run through him and they bounce off of his chest. I'm like, he's not the guy. He's not going to move. He is in the ground. He's solid.
Except Zach Edey that other day.
He is solid. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Zach Edey is a monster, to be fair. He's
really
ginormous.
Yeah.
But
I think
I'm totally with you.
Adam, you're the only person I think that had the Nuggets. You had them at the 4 seed coming into the season, didn't you?
So in the preseason, before preseason began, I said I was worried the Nuggets would be 5-7. Then when we made our official predictions at the end of preseason, I predicted them 3rd. So I kind of split the difference. I was too low early, slightly too high above, but yes, 4.
Yeah,
I'm not going to talk about any of my predictions, actually.
I'm just
going to pretend nothing happened.
Caitlin and I did have the best take, though, that we knew that the Phoenix Suns were going to be bad. We knew that they were going to have a terrible defense and no rim protection. And now they're not even in the playoffs. Do you think Michael Malone is their next coach?
I don't know. I mean, Ishbia is kind of hard to predict right now because he clearly is going for the glam move. I think Michael Malone might be the glam move available at the moment, but I don't know if he'd be the right one. I don't know that that's the right spot for him.
Well, and it's so hard too, because at the same time, if you're Phoenix, what do you do? This is going to be your 4th head coach in 4 years with almost the same team, essentially, or at least the same core. They've obviously had tons of bench pieces and everything move around, but I was thinking about that. I'm with Mike Malone now and Mike Brown and Mike Budenholzer, all the Mikes that got fired, there's so many fantastic coaches that are available. I'm going to be really intrigued to see kind of where everyone ends up.
But they're all kind of in the same, and Taylor Jenkins even, they're all kind of in the same mold though. There's lots of different types of coaches and those ones are all in the same corner stylistically. Yeah, totally. I wonder, look, Phoenix is probably unsalvageable, and I wonder how much Ishbia knows that. So, because to me, all these ideas of a new voice, they've had a lot of voices.
They've had plenty.
Yeah. So are you going to rebuild, put Michael Malone there to coach Colin Gillespie and Bol? Maybe that's the move.
I forget every time that I don't forget that they have Bol, but it cracks me up every time I remember that they have him.
I love him, and I love the game that he started, and he played so well. He's just the best. I don't know.
He's a guy. Yeah, no, I'm interested to see where everyone goes. Do you see, as it is right now, that they're going to give Adelman the shot to remain head coach?
I think he has a very real shot at this. I don't know that they've made their decision or anything like that. I think they're keeping it open. I think they want to gain intel from what happens in this playoffs and how he handles himself, because the Nuggets cannot afford a coach that needs a year to learn. They can't afford it. Next year, the coach they have needs to be ready to win a championship, or at least give them the best chance. What I will say is I think Adelman has the players behind him. I think the players really like him, and that goes a long way. So pressure makes diamonds. Let's see what happens as he gets under the hot seat here. Has to go up against Tyronn Lue and his great staff, which I think is a really tough first challenge to walk into.
Yeah.
We'll see if the players stick with him, if he makes adjustments that they don't buy into or what have you. But I think right now he has real momentum because he's the type of coach they need. He's a strategist. He's a thinker. I'm a big believer that whoever the Nuggets bring in as head coach next needs to be smarter than Jokic. I know that sounds silly, but there's different types of coaches. There's leaders.
Difficult.
It seems very difficult. So you need someone who is not like, well, we're doing it this way because it's my principles. You need somebody who is like, we're doing it this way because of these reasons, that Jokic is like, I agree, or I see your vision.
It makes sense.
That Jokic is like on par with him and that they can kind of collaborate almost.
Yeah. And it's not even, I think, collaboration as in we came up with the idea, but it's more in that I presented it to you in a way that you accept. It's not dogmatic. It's practical and thoughtful. And I think that's who David Adelman is. He's a very smart guy. He grew up in a film room. He grew up watching film of things. His presser the other day was
the Nepo coaches.
but I mean, in a weird way, like think about players. There's so many kids of former players who were in the NBA. Well, they were rich, they had great training, and they had somebody who had institutional knowledge in their ear every single day, pointing them in the right way. Coaches, I think, work the same way.
Oh,
and I
you
thought
have all the tools.
You have all the tools. And I thought Adelman was so interesting because he said something the other day about, he's like, yes, I always watch other teams and how they guard us. And that's how I think about the game is, would I have done that? And it's like, that's the brain he has. His brain probably has nothing in it other than basketball strategy.
No, I envy people like that.
I loved seeing after like his first win, just like DJ coming up and like giving him a hug from like around the neck. And because I really do think that it's almost like, that like babysitter or whatever that you have too much. Like that's how I felt like Malone was. Like you had them too many years. Like I'm not listening to you anymore. Like you're not new. I'm not trying to. I don't care if you call my parents. Like that's how it almost felt like with Malone towards the end. Like he's like mom. I gave them a really stern speech about defense, and they're like, whatever, man. Like I'm not listening.
I think Malone too probably, by his nature, and this served him well when they were young, there's always subtext to what he says. And then he almost speaks in subtext, like I'm giving this message, but what I'm really trying to do is this. And I think the team is probably beyond that, to where they're like, just tell us what we need, man. We don't need like this.
We don't need riddles.
We don't need riddles and motivations and these weird things. Just good strategy, clean strategy, leave space for us to lead ourselves.
And I feel like that's how like Adelman has come in and been. And I think that's like what I've really appreciated about him. Like not only has he just been like, he's been so phenomenal, it seems like, with like the media. Like he answers questions really well, and he doesn't really beat around the bush. And like you said, like he has the players behind him. And I think you can feel that. Like the second that he was like the head coach, and we watched him play that first game and stuff like that after Malone, I was like, did our entire team just suddenly buy in? Like, are we all playing defense? Are we all like hustling? Are we all listening to the coach right now? Like, what am I watching? Like, they kind of looked cohesive. Like they wanted to win and wanted to play. It was so weird.
They were communicating.
So much communication. And normally you never see that. You wouldn't ever see that on
this
a
is
Tuesday.
what I mean about the life in the team. And like I said, I on the DMVR show yesterday, I'm hearing that's not just, in the immediate aftermath, and the coach on the floor, they're talking a little bit more. I hear that has extended into the plane ride in the locker room, that there's like a new energy to the team of, hey, everybody, full investment, emotionally, like vocally, everything. Let's all throw us into it. And Yoke in particular is I think fired up about the moment, because Yoke is a guy that I think will follow a bad leader, because he has this belief in like, well, it's the coach and we just need to execute the plan. The structure. But I think that when he looks around and sees other people don't operate that way, it's discouraging to him. Why don't we do what we're supposed to know? It's because these other people don't necessarily believe. But now that he sees those shackles removed from his teammates, I think he looks around and is like, everyone's buying in now. This is what we needed.
We're all here
I'm
now.
like, as soon as when you see Jokic aware, I'm like, everyone should be worried. Like the quote that he gave after the first game about the beast is most vulnerable or is most dangerous when it's vulnerable. I was like, I literally called Kaylin. I was like, did you just see what Jokic said? Like, I think the league should be worried. Like if I were the Clippers and I saw that. I would be concerned.
And Jokic doesn't say those things like flippantly, right? I think he has thoughts to him that he keeps to himself. So the fact that he was willing to let that one fire, that he fired away, shows you his mental state at the moment.
Yeah, no, and just that he's Jamal confident in his team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jamal saying we believe, like I was like, oh, I hate to get my hopes up, but it feels like everyone's it doesn't feel like the Nuggets from like a few weeks ago where everyone's like, it looked like everyone was hanging their heads and like had already decided that they were going to be first round exits or play-in exits. And now it feels like they actually are like, I forgot we do have Jokic and like, I kind of like this team. Like, I think we could do something. So I hate that they had the ESPN, like, what did they have them all, like, decide their predictions yesterday? And I think only, like, Ramona Shelburne, and I forgot the other person that said, like, Nuggets in 7, and everyone else said Clippers. And I'm like, I just need someone to show this to Jamal because...
Yeah. Oh, they saw it. Trust me. I promise you they see those things. So... To me, it's true. It's like, hey, we're back, baby. We're back to nobody believes in us. Our most comfortable chair.
That's why they love it. I mean, that's where, like I always remember in the playoffs the year we won, obviously, when Jamal was like, like, we're ready for this. And it felt like, it just felt so good. You like really in that moment, like just knew like, oh, this team's going to do something special. So when he said, we believe, I was like, okay, like, don't get my hopes up, Jamal. But I feel like I totally agree with what you said earlier, that you feel like they're going to come to play on Saturday, because I do worry about matinee games always, but I really feel like they are going to be so locked in on Saturday. And I haven't had that confidence in the past couple weeks before the firing, but now I really feel like Saturday, they're going to come in and mean business.
Well, there is a poetic difference between we're ready for this and we believe. And I think that's the difference between the two, is Jamal and Yoke and the rest of the team is signaling we believe again. But that doesn't mean we're ready for this. It just means we have the foundation for being ready for this. And, whether or not they actually are is TBD.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be like a really long series. And I know that a lot of people don't believe in the Nuggets just because of like our ups and downs all season and stuff like that, obviously.
And defense.
There are defense does matter and it does hurt. Yeah, lack thereof. And I think that like that's important. Like I was talking yesterday just about the series, and I was like, this is going to be a very high scoring series, just because I think that like the Nuggets obviously don't have a ton of defense. We're a fantastic offense. The Clippers are, like you said, one of the best offenses in this kind of last chunk of the season. And so I'm like, if we can't defend them, we're just going to be keeping up with them offensively, and that's something that we can do. So I feel like we're going to see a lot of offense, but I think it's going to be a long series. I think I'm going to be tired personally.
I could see every outcome for this. I could see a quick Clippers win, a long quick Clippers win, a quick Nuggets win, and a long Nuggets win. So I can kind of see all outcomes, and that's part of what makes it for a good series. Denver's defense, I think, will be improved. The question is how much. Like, how much of this is habit and repetition versus just buy-in? Because I think the Nuggets have buy-in. But
agreed.
Are the muscles they need to execute that buy-in, are they strengthened? Do you need the course of the season to kind of build those up so you're ready? If the answer is yes, they probably don't have a runway for it. But if it's like, nope, it's more like riding a bike. We haven't been doing this, but we can, and now we're back to it. Then I think they have a great chance in it.
That's how I feel historically with the Nuggets. Obviously, they've just been good, at defensively rising in the playoffs. Like this year, we haven't seen much of it in the clutches or, we used to where you were like, oh, they can flip the switch. I haven't felt like there were a lot of flip the switch games this year like there used to be. Last year, it felt like that was almost every game where it was like, okay, like, we're like trailing or keeping even like the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter, they just turn it on and destroy you. So I haven't felt that as much as I would like to this season. So that's why I'm like very intrigued is what I would like to say for Saturday, to see if they do, if the switch is still there and functional somewhere deep down.
Yeah. That's why the Memphis game was important though, because that game was exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. And it was needed. And, as much as it's Memphis, that was a difficult close, the way they did it, 9 minutes where they only allowed a point or something, 6 minutes, whatever it was. So to me, it's like, hey, they give us just enough for us to have narratives going in, like not enough for us to feel great. Yeah, not enough for us to like say definitively this is what will happen, but enough for us to say, hey, it's possible.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch. I'm going to be at DNVR on Saturday, and I hope everyone else watching is too.
I'll catch a flight.
I know. Yeah, you'll have to fly over from Phoenix. Thank you so much for joining us, Adam. I know you have to go because you're so busy. He's really famous, guys. He's a really important guy. It took me weeks to get a response from him.
Yeah, right. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Adam's the best. Thanks so much for coming on.
Joining us
to talk Nuggets with us. And I'm excited. I will be watching the game with you guys on Saturday, and I can't wait.
Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. Go Nugs.
Go Nugs.
Go Nugs.
All right.
Bye, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. All right, guys. We are so glad that we got to have Adam on. He, of course, is a very, very, very busy man. So we are going to keep yapping for like another 30 minutes or so, just because the plan is tonight. And round one, the stage is set. We wanted to kind of talk about that. I guess Caitlin has her Warriors, the other W team, Warriors shirt on tonight. So should we start with the play-in, the 2 play-in games tonight?
No,
scared. No,
I'm terrified. Listen, okay, the Warriors are 0-3 in the play-in. Okay, we have not won a play-in game. All right, yeah, pain. So we have not won a play-in game, and we are playing Memphis, and Memphis is very much so to the Warriors as the Timberwolves are to the Grizzlies. It's a really big physical, mental matchup. That's exactly what it is. And now that our wonderful guest Adam is on and I can drop the professionalism, stop talking so much shit about the Nuggets, friends. Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We were being nice and demure. Cut it out.
I'm like, can we stop hurting my feelings? I'm already stressed enough.
The Nuggets' disrespect is crazy, considering, if you don't recall, we do have Nikola Jokic. And I know you guys, for some whatever reason, think that Jamal Murray isn't Jamal Murray anymore. Playoff Jamal Murray is a scary, scary man. Scary man. And by the way, Jokic is also one of the greatest playoff risers. Literally 4 years ago today, he dropped 45, 15, and 8. 4 years ago today. Okay? Stop with the nonsense.
Okay,
Stop
yeah,
it.
I just had to say that, okay? Because I totally get it. Opinions are opinions, all right?
I was biting my tongue.
Oh, I was like, I kept looking at the comments and everyone was like, Spencer, F the Nuggets. Do you guys know the Nuggets are asshole? I'm like,
did you guys know that they're gonna lose the minute they get?
Yep,
I wish I could bookmark all of those comments. I'm like an elephant. I don't forget.
There was a bug.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. I need to. I have a straggler. I got a straggler.
Caitlin's child.
Daddy.
Oh, God bless us.
Okay. But either way, I'm terrified about the Grizzlies and the Warriors.
Do you need me to take you off the
screen?
screen for a second?
No, you're totally fine. Actually, yes.
All right, guys. So now, oh my goodness, I've never done this. I've never done this solo before. Anyways, so Caitlin's going off so she can take care of her child that likes to be. She gets really excited when we record because usually we can pause and get her out of the room, and she likes to talk to me whenever we're here. But yeah, guys. So we have the Warriors playing tonight, and I don't know about you guys. I'm nervous for the Warriors, as Caitlin was talking about. They're. Are you ready, friend?
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm doing great.
Okay.
Totally
so Caitlin,
fine. Just wrestling my child.
I was just rambling. So Warriors are 0-3 in the play-in.
Yeah, they're
How does it
0-3
feel?
in the play-in. It's fine. I think that I feel like if the Warriors can win any play-in game, it's this one. Like it makes sense for them to win. Yeah, like I just I worry about them getting in their head. Luckily,
Yeah.
Memphis doesn't have Dylan Brooks anymore, and so that mental aspect is removed.
Thank
But
goodness.
then we end up playing the Rockets. If we do win this game, we end up playing the Rockets in the first
And
round.
they do have Dylan Brooks.
And they do have Dylan Brooks. So that's painful. But I just think that like the hardest part I feel like is probably just going to be like Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zach Edey. We don't have a true big and everything. So it's going to be a lot of work on Draymond. They'll probably play Quentin Post a lot of minutes. And he's a rookie. That's huge experience for him. And that's really important experience for him. But I think like as long as Pods is playing the way that he's been playing, Steph is playing the way that he's been playing, and their defense has been playing as well as they have been playing as well, like it should be a win. I don't expect them to go in and lose, but I also don't want to jinx anything. And I will also throw up everywhere.
I don't want to eat my words later, but it really just feels like, are the Grizzlies even like, do they want to win? Like, I don't know what it is, but they don't seem to have like some of the fight that I would have expected them to have. So I'm almost like just curious on what, like, I really don't know how this game is going to sway. Like, because in my opinion, I think the Warriors have more fight for this one, you know, like in their minds than the Grizzlies do. So that's why like my initial instinct is that the Warriors are going to go ahead and take the 7 seed. Like, I don't know how far I see them going, but I do see them taking this game. I just can't. I don't know. The Grizzlies just haven't looked great. And I know like they really kept up with Denver, and that was like a do or die game. And they kind of like collapsed towards the end. So maybe I just don't have any faith in them. But I don't want to sound like too overconfident on them. But the other game we have is the Hawks and the Magic. Do you have any? Are you 50-50? Are you leaning one way or the other?
I'm actually pretty 50-50 on this one. I'm actually surprised that I think it's the Hawks. Are they the 8 seed or are they the 7 seed? I can look.
Yeah, you look that up, sister. Oh, Hawks are 8. Yeah, Magic is 7.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm not super surprised, I guess, at this. Like the Hawks are forever in the play-in. They're like the Bulls. They're like the Kings.
That's
like
their purgatory, baby. Like
they live in the play-in.
Live in the play-in.
Yes. And so I think like with them, what?
Interesting.
See,
but then you have to bank on winning
against OKC.
Well, you have to bank on winning that second play-in game. Mm-hmm. And then you've played 2 games while OKC's been sipping a Mai Tai on the beach.
Yeah. And I think that like that's like the really important thing too, that a lot of people that are in the play-in are thinking is that like you just need to win the game in front of you. Like it doesn't matter who we're matched up with. We can worry
because anyone can win one game. So gambling, losing this game to pray that you win the next one to get to the series, that seems very silly. Like very silly.
Yeah. Especially when the team that they're going into play has already won 1 game and is like 1 game away from getting to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I feel like you're right. I feel like that's like a bad gamble. And
that's a very bad strategy, I would say.
And we've talked about it a lot with like the Nuggets. And I think about this a lot with the Warriors too, is that like any matchup in the West right now is kind of a hard matchup. Like I think that all of these series, especially round 1, they're all going to be really great, really tough series for every team. I just don't think that like teams 1 through 8 or seeds 1 through 8 really have like I don't know, you're kind of a loser. I could probably whoop your ass. Like I just don't really see that. Like I feel like in the East, you kind of do have that. Like I think that like the Cavs could dog walk either the Hawks or the Magic. I think that the Boston Celtics could do the same. But I feel like truly on both ends of the play-in, I feel like the 7 and 8 seed kind of makes sense as the 7 and 8 seed in the playoffs. Like, especially in the West, like I see the Warriors as the 7 seed and I see the Grizzlies still beating either the Kings or the Mavs and going into that 8 seed. And then same thing with the, whatever it's called, the Hawks. Like I see the Magic going in as a 7 and then the Hawks going in beating either the freaking Bulls or the Heat to get the 8 seed. Like to me, it just makes sense the way that it is.
And honestly, like while you have the like Dylan Brooks mental game, I guess, if they play the Rockets in the first round, to me, like you also have the fact that like the Rockets are a really young team, mainly, and Warriors have been there once or twice or 12 times. Once they are in the playoffs. Yeah. 4. So 4 rings. So like
Klay Thompson.
And then you also have Jimmy Butler, who's one of the greatest playoff risers, obviously, playoff Jimmy.
Playoff Jimmy.
So I don't think that I would like favor Houston over the Warriors in that. Like, I think it would be a close series, but again, like maybe I'm higher up on experience than I am like other people. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like you watch the same like storylines every year where it's like a team gets, like is like the first seed, but they don't have the experience. So they get bounced in round 2. And then the next year, like they may get to the Western Conference Finals and have a heartbreaking game 7. And then maybe the third year that they can get there. I truly am like really high up on experience. And when you have guys like Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, like all those guys like are insane vets that have been around the block and know what to expect. And I don't know if I feel that way about the Rockets. I'm probably the worst because like the Rockets like came soaring back. Like they were up and I didn't believe in them, and then they went down and I was like, I knew it. And then they came back up. But I still like I don't want to eat my words, but I still like I have to see what they bring in round 1 to see how I feel about them.
Yeah, and Cam, no one's saying that they don't have a chance against the Warriors. That's what we're saying, is it's a hard matchup no matter what.
I was saying it's going to be interesting to see because...
I'm totally with you. Experience, I think that experience is one of the first things that I take into account in the playoffs because experience in the playoffs is so important. You have 7 games, up to 7 games, to completely change the way you play against a game. Like you play game 1, and if you don't already know this, they said that in game 4, when the Warriors had tied the series, or maybe in game 5 when the Celtics went up 3-2 in that 2022 final series, they said that like the Celtics literally blew out the Warriors in that game, like by 30. And it was in Boston. So it was a painful loss. And everyone was like, oh, it's over. And Steph and Dre both said, and Klay, they all said that after that game, they knew they were going to win the finals, because they said during that game, they all figured out exactly what needed to be done in order to beat this team. They said that so many of them had put their minds together and they were like, I know exactly what we need to do. And they came out and they won 2 in a row and they won the finals. And so I think that like minds like that, like you have Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, you have Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, playoff Jimmy, but he's not on their finals team or anything like that. But like these are guys, and including Kevon Looney, those are all guys. That's 6 guys that were on their championship team 3 years ago. These are guys that have that experience together, and they've risen through the ashes together, and they've gone through those ups and downs. And Steve Kerr already has 9 rings. He's played through 9 rings, or played through like 5 rings, and won 4. As a coach, I'm like, that's a lot of experience in the playoffs, and you can't minimize the, I guess, benefit that kind of experience brings you, because the Rockets were literally the second worst team in the league last year, the second worst team in the West last year, and now they're the second best team in the West. And I just don't think that you can plow through great teams your first year kind of.
I think so many people, I think seeds 2 through 8 are going to give anyone a run for their money. I think it's, so I'm not saying, I am to your point, Cam, I do need to see some stuff from Houston to fully buy in. So that's why I'm I don't want to say anything, but I just
you haven't
need to
seen
see
them in
it.
a series.
I need to see it. I need to see game 1. But even then, that even last year to me, when the Nuggets played the Timberwolves, that was the weirdest series of all time. It wasn't like a game 7 where every game was close. No, we literally got whooped game 1 and 2, came back, won 3 in a row, then lost 2 in a row and got whooped again 2 in a row. So that was a weird one. So, but most of the time you can kind of tell, I feel from game 1 and 2, because game 1, it's your learning game. And then game 2, you see how they respond, whoever lost. So I'm really excited to see. We were talking about Magic and Hawks. I see Magic winning this one. I literally don't care about the East too much, because it's going to be between like Cavs, Celtics, and Pacers probably, and maybe the Pistons. But I don't think that the Hawks and Magic are gonna pull like a Miami Heat like champion or finals run like they did with
Totally, and climb the ladder.
I don't see that happening.
No.
For the next play-in that's tomorrow is, what is it?
I've got the
Mavs and
Mavs beating the
Okay.
Kings. I think that the Mavs will beat the Kings. I just think that the Mavs want it more. I feel like the Mavs have so much fight in them, and so much that they want
like,
to be
for
able to
what?
prove.
But
That's
like,
what I'm saying. They just want to be able to
you don't have Kyrie, and like you're kind of screwed. Like I just feel like
I don't think that they would get through round one. I don't even think they would win the second play-in game.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of pride there, so I feel like they're gonna play extra hard. But to me, it is very much like but like for why? Like, what are we playing for, guys? Like, and I feel so bad. Like, Mavs fans, like I feel for you. I'm so sorry. Like, I was literally in just in Dallas, obviously, like I'm moving there soon. And I was interviewing for a nanny position, and the family's a huge Mavs like fan. They were at the game, like at Luka's return game. And I was like, we were all talking about how we were crying, and I was talking about it with the kids, the little boys, like Luka's their favorite player. So like I understand like Mavs wanting, and like probably Anthony Davis wanting to be like, come on, like, especially because like Anthony Davis was on the Lakers and they got swept out of, 2 seasons ago. And then they got out of gentlemen swept round one. And then, so I'm like, Anthony Davis is probably like in hell a little bit because he's a great player. Like he shouldn't be in the Klay
Thompson.
Yeah. It's a lot. So I guess Mavs have their pride. Who knows? I think I would like to say that it's going to end up being Warriors and Grizzlies being the 7 and 8.
That's what I'm saying. I think the 1 through 8 seeds just make sense in the West. I think that they're all where they would be. I for some reason would not be confident at all if Caden, I think I believe with all of my heart that OKC would roll out the Mavericks like with a rolling pin, bake them like cookies, baby. Like I think that it would. Yeah. Like I
wouldn't be worried about that.
Your respect
I would be worried.
For the Mavs.
I would be worried if they got Warriors. Just because I feel like they can match up well. Heat and Bulls, last play-in game before I want to talk a little bit of Timberwolves Lakers. I see Bulls getting it like 100% because Bulls have beaten, they like swept us, the Nuggets this year in the series, which it's 2 games because it's East versus West. And then I think they swept the Lakers this year. So the Bulls like have some fight in them. So I could see them getting out of the play-in.
They're like, we're really great at winning one really hard game here and there. Okay.
Exactly.
Like we're pretty phenomenal at that. And I think that that's exactly what this is. I'm with you. I think that the Bulls will take it. I don't know if the Bulls would or will beat the Hawks or Magic in game 2. I don't really know. I'm super not confident in either 9 or 10 seed this year.
Yeah, I mean, the East. The East. The East. But I did want to talk about, we obviously have yapped a lot. We don't have time to like talk about every single round 1 matchup. But I, as a Nuggets fan, have never been more happy in my entire life because the Lakers and Timberwolves have to play round 1, which means one of them has to go home. I don't even really care who.
Yep.
I'm just happy one of them gets to leave. Round 1, see ya. Adios.
That is pretty crazy.
To Cancun you go.
I think that this is going to be a great series. I know that everyone's going to be hate watching it. I'm going to be hate watching Rudy Gobert.
Literally,
I cannot
scrumptious.
stand him. But I think like other than that, like my basketball loving brain is actually really excited because I do think it's going to be really physical, really fast, like really great basketball. I think that the Wolves defense I'm excited to see like Anton Luka. Like I feel like that'll be really fun if we get kind of like that matchup. I don't know. Who do you think that the Lakers come out of this? I feel like the Lakers do, but I have it being a long series.
I think the Lakers do. My number one hope is that it is a game 7 series and every game goes to overtime. So they're all really, really tired.
Super sleepy.
Look, I'm just so happy that one of them's going home. I just I can't contain my excitement. Like this was literally my best case scenario. I see Lakers coming out of this, unfortunately.
I twitch.
But fortunate that I don't have to deal that I don't have to deal with the Timberwolves. And like, no offense to like our friends, like we have a few that are Timberwolves fans, but I have had enough of y'all and I never want to see you ever again. So I see Lakers coming out of this. I really do. I hope it's a long series. I think that Timberwolves, though, are similar to the Nuggets where when they're like totally counted off, like Ant's going to be like, oh, what was that? What did you guys say? I mean,
I'm gonna
literally
drop 50 on your head.
After the third game we won in a row last year, he literally said to the Nuggets staff, I'll see y'all for game 7. So like he was not playing around. So I don't think he handles the disrespect lightly. So I think it's going to be a real interesting series. And I'm really excited for it, but I don't see like what they have for
Luka
and LeBron and, and Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, that's the problem is that, that's the issue is that like, I feel like the Lakers really are just kind of like in a really comfortable, cohesive position as a team, like with Luka playing how he is, with LeBron.
Bronny.
I feel like especially Bronny. He's been going crazy. MIP, baby. No, I'm just kidding. Most improved player from the beginning of the season, which is great. But yes, I think that I was going to say, Shane just said we've got depth. And I do agree with that like, I think the Timberwolves have a little bit more depth than the Lakers do, especially when it comes to the front court. I think that like,
but I think the Lakers' 3 best players are like way better than the Timberwolves' 3 best players. So that's where I think like, but I do agree that you do have depth. I think it'll be a really long series, and I think it'll be an exhausting series for everybody.
I hate that I really want like Rudy Gobert to annihilate Jackson Hayes. Like I don't ever wish good things for Rudy Gobert.
No, I want them both gone. That would be nice.
But I can't stand Jackson Hayes.
Oh, okay. Cam said if the series goes 7, the advantage goes to the Lakers. Only way Timberwolves win is if they beat the Lakers in 6. I can see that.
I can see that too. I think that any team playing the Lakers this year, if the Lakers are the home team, you're kind of screwed there. They have one of the best, home advantages out of anyone in the league.
It'll be interesting. Yeah. One of the other series I'm really excited for is Knicks Pistons.
I'm stoked for this series. I think it's going to be a really fun series and a great matchup.
And like, listen, like Pistons have the belief. So like, do I think they're going to make it to like the Eastern Conference Finals? No, but I could see them getting the Knicks out in the first round.
I've got Pistons in 6. No one yell at me, but I've got Pistons in 6.
I've got Pistons in 6, and I see that, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think the first thing that happens is Tibbs is fired, like expeditiously, like immediately after.
Yeah,
like how
playing
do you have
all your guys 42 minutes a game?
Yeah, like 45, really. He like, how do you have Karl Anthony Towns, like Jalen Brunson, Mikal, like, and they sold their left toe to get Mikal Bridges and Cat, and now what, like, and you would be a first round. You could be, because listen, like Pistons play hard. If you didn't notice, like they beat the Celtics.
They're a physical, fast team.
They're a physical, fast, young team who is very cohesive. Like they really, really believe in each other.
They grew together. Like they got a couple of vets, but like their main guys.
They went through hell together. Okay,
they sure did.
So I've got Pistons for that. So if we think that Warriors end up 7 and Grizzlies end up 8. Do you see Grizzlies posing any threat to OKC at all in the first round?
No.
Yeah, me either.
I'm here. Hold on, wait. I'm the SpongeBob Magic Conch.
No. No. I want to say yes so bad, but I will never forget the last Grizzlies and Thunder game of this season, which was, I think like 2 weeks ago or maybe 3, probably 2. And it was so close the whole game. Grizzlies, I think, were a little ahead even going into the end. And then all of a sudden the Thunder did like that annoying thing where they like go on like a 15-0 run and it was over. So do I think that the Grizzlies have a chance? Not really. Not really.
Not really. Like you said, like I think I like really want them to. Obviously, they lost their head coach too. They've been through a lot this season. I don't see the fight in them. I feel like they're playing very, and I don't like saying this like in like a mean way, but I feel like they're playing like very uninspired basketball.
Yes, precisely, my dear.
It's just, like they don't have like this, we want to go win the championship. Like I feel like most of the other teams that are currently in the playoffs on both sides, I would say like seeds 1 through 6 in the East and then seeds 1 through 7 in the West, and even like seeds 9 and 10 really want to. I just feel like the Grizzlies are just kind of coasting till the end, and I don't know if they have the mental
uninspired
aspect.
Is the perfect way to say it.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like there's any like to me. I don't look at that team and be like, oh, they think they're contenders. Like, no, I don't think they do. I will say probably one of the series, honestly, I'm so excited this playoffs. So all of these series are going to be good. But one of the series that I'm also most excited for is Bucks Pacers, because those teams hate each other. Hate loathe entirely. Hate. They hate them, and they hate them so much. And it's gonna be so good. If you don't remember, like the whole like game ball situation, like like Giannis was like running into their locker room. Like there is drama and history there. And Pacers, listen, Pacers. Don't sleep on the Pacers, okay? I could see them potentially even like annoyingly getting their way to maybe the finals this year, depending on how the Bucks play. Or not the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals.
I was like, whoa.
No, I could see potentially it being like Cavs, Pacers, Celtics, Pacers. I mean, I think Celtics are going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals at least. Like they're just so damn deep, and it's
I hate
team,
that
basically.
Like. Yeah, I hate that. Like for me in the West, I'm like, it could be anyone in the Western Conference Finals. I've said most of the season, I really do believe that OKC is the team to beat in the West. But so that means that I think that every series for OKC is going to be very hard, because every single Western Conference team is going to come in and want and like know that they're the team to beat.
Slay Nuggets. You're going to get OKC second round. If you make it past the Clippers, that's your reward. Yummy.
Yeah. And I personally think that OKC would also dog walk the Clippers, unfortunately.
Oh, I thought you were about to say the Nuggets. I was like, girl.
No. No.
I think that we're one of their best matchups, obviously. I mean, we split the series 2-2. We were missing people this year. We've had and like the Nuggets are starting, like Aaron's starting to look a little better and Jamal's looking a little better. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think a lot of the teams are peaking at the right time. And like you said, like I feel like the current matchups that we have, like even the play-in matchups, I just feel like there's so many emotions between all of these teams. There's angry. I love nothing more than saying, no, literally. Literally. I just feel like there's so many emotions, and like everyone, like vibes are high, emotions are high. I think there's like a lot of people who want to prove something. And so I think that I freaking love the playoffs. Okay. Like I think that they're all going to be so good. I'm so excited.
I know. Jinx. I'm curious to see, because like, obviously OKC's been so damn cocky this year. Like I worry like that could hurt them like that. I mean, it's all things like that. Like when you have underdogs that are pissed off and like ready to play, and then you have, the mentality that, no one can beat you, like that can be dangerous.
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Yes.
Who am I? These are my sunglasses, by the way. I'm just so good at basketball. I can't help it.
Oh.
Who was I?
Are you Shay?
Yeah. Those are my glasses.
My
His
whole life
sunglasses.
my whole life is consistent. Shut your ass up. Yeah, James Harden usually is like a historical playoff dropper. I think that's like another thing that would be incredible for the Nuggets. So we'll have to see. We're so excited to like keep talking about it with you
so
guys. On
stressed.
Friday, we're having our friends Will and Grace on from What's in a Game NBA. So we're gonna have 4 of us yapping, and it's gonna be so good because we will have it'll be the day before, obviously, the Nuggets, and the play-in will be set, so we'll get to be able to dive in a little deeper on everyone else, the other teams, once those round ones are
the
set.
stage is set.
The stage is fully set. The stage is mostly set right now. But if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're so glad to have you here. We were so excited to have Adam on as our first guest, and we can't wait to keep having more people on, especially now that it's playoffs. We figured we'd have fun and just start asking all of our friends to come on the show.
And just hang out with us and yip yap
Yeah.
about basketball because
Yip yap about
we love life.
all of it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy. This is like my favorite time of year. I'm also sad because I know that it means it's like the beginning of the end.
I don't want to talk about it.
I know. I just I love this time though because
I gotta
like
go
every
my own
game.
way.
Well, what about us? What about everything we've been through?
What about trust? I never wanted to hurt you. And what about me? Okay. Anyway,
What
I'm
am
really
I
sad
supposed to do?
I
gotta leave, but I'll miss you. We sang that to you guys, okay? To our beautiful
Yes,
listeners.
shout out Gabriel Landeskog is back. He
I'm so
was after like
excited.
2 full seasons. I love Landy. He was my favorite player the year that we won the championship, and then but he got injured, and it's been a long road for him. So it's been so amazing to see that he went with the little whatever it's called, the minors for NHL, the G League of the NHL.
the Colorado
He was with the
Eagles,
Eagles,
yeah.
but I don't know what the NHL calls it. And he's back, so I'm really excited for that. And I believe the Avs play on Saturday. I think they play the Dallas Stars, which is like awkward. Like my new city's playing my current city, but I'm an Avs girl through and through. I'm gonna stay an Avs fan even in Dallas, I promise. But yeah, we love you guys so much. Thanks so much for supporting us. And we had about 500 of you on here today on a Tuesday morning.
That's fabulous.
Which we love. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and like the video.
Yes, and come back on Friday and stuff like that. Thanks for hanging out with us, friends.
Friday we'll be back at the time at 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. I think Pacific.
Pacific.
Yeah. So
2
we'll
p.m.
see you
for
then.
me. That's me.
Adios. Love you.
Bye, friends.